Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Trey back again here to bring you another video. This one's going to be talking about a matchup that this is just pretty much going to be a hypothetical video. This matchup makes sense, but it has not been announced yet, or at this point anyway. It's just kind of a matchup that I kind of see as inevitable at some point to happen. So I felt like since I have some time now, I'll get a video prediction up for it, and that would be Frank Mir versus Cain Velasquez. So these two are pretty much right at the same level right now. They're within the top five, I'd say, and pretty much just being behind. Now that Brock's out, period, permanently, until it probably won't come back at all. Especially if his wife has anything to say about it. So I doubt we'll see Brock back, period. Really, these guys are only behind JDS and Reem at this point. So they would probably be number 3 and 4 in the world. And then, of course, you've got Shane Carwin in there somewhere. You probably put him at like number 5, number 6, somewhere up there. Roy Big Country Nelson's up there. And Big Nog is up there, but definitely behind Frank Mir, that's for sure, especially after that fight. So these guys are just destined to collide. It's going to happen sooner or later. Let's do a video prediction for it. Let's talk about it. So these two are two of the best heavyweights in UFC history. Frank Mir being one of the longest active fighting heavyweights in UFC history, if not the longest at this point. Actually, I think right now I would say he probably has been in the UFC heavyweight division longer than anybody else currently active in fighting. No other heavyweight in UFC right now has been around since Frank Mir's days, back when Frank Mir was in the UFC and there was Pride and he was doing his thing. Both are ex UFC champions. Frank Mir was a champion, and so was Cain V. This is an interesting fight, but I personally think that Frank Mir is going to have a lot of trouble in this fight. We got to see in his last fight that maybe his quickness, now that he's put on all this bulk, all this size, has started to kind of slow him down, because he did get outstruck by Big Nog. It could be Big Nog's boxing is just much improved, and Frank Mir's is not improved that much, or it could just been a one-time thing where he got caught. But obviously he got outstruck in that match and was able to come back pretty much. He was out in that fight. He was almost completely out. He went down and everything. And he was just able to keep it together long enough. He was in frickin' zombie mode when he put that armbar on Nogueira, at least for the first part of it. When they went down in the scramble and everything, and Big Nog was going to try to put a guillotine on him, he was in zombie mode, no question about it. He was going off pure instinct right there, pure drilling right there. He's drilled that probably how many times, and that was really what got him through that fight. For all intents and purposes, he probably should have lost that fight against Big Nog, but he came back in an amazing victory and really showed that he is probably the best jiu-jitsu artist in the heavyweight division, or pretty much in UFC, period. Just an amazing jiu-jitsu artist, amazing grappler. And people come out, I said this before, and people are like, no, Big Nog's a better grappler than he is. I'm like, what? It doesn't even make any sense. He just got his arm broken in like 2 spots. What are you talking about? He's a better grappler than Frank Mir. If he was a better grappler than Frank Mir, he wouldn't have lost last time. Frank Mir is the better man. And then you could say, okay, well, any given Sunday that night he was the better man, yada, yada. No, Frank Mir is just better, in my opinion, at jiu-jitsu and grappling. There aren't many guys I think would want to go to the ground with Frank Mir. Cain Velasquez, if he fights him, is not going to want to go to the ground with Frank Mir. There's no question about it. He's going to want to use his cardio. He's going to want to keep it standing. He's going to want to knock him out. That being said, do I think Frank Mir can take him down? I don't think Frank Mir's wrestling is at the level it needs to be at to be taking Cain V down. I don't think it's going to happen. If he does go down, it'll be in a scramble, similar maybe in his guard. He'll get taken down. But I don't think Cain's going to want to take him down. I think Cain's going to want to stand and strike with Mir, and I think that in that I got to give Cain the advantage. After seeing Big Nog against at this stage of Big Nog's career against Frank Mir just looked very very slow with all the extra muscle and everything. He will have a huge size advantage over Cain Velasquez, but I just see Cain as being the better striker of the two, having the better cardio of the two, and seeing as how I don't think Frank Mir's wrestling is good enough to take Cain down and submit him. I think I got to go with Cain in this fight, just by tiring Frank out, outstriking him, maybe knocking him out. Odds on this fight, I'd say probably 60-40 in Cain's favor. Could Frank Mir win? Of course he can. I mean, if he gets Cain down, if he scrambles with him and gets him into any kind of submission, if he lands a bomb, because he does have good boxing too. It's not like Frank Mir's doesn't have good boxing. He does. There's no question about it. Maybe that was just a fluky thing in the last fight, but I still have to pick Cain in this fight, just being as that he's been at the top. He's got better cardio. He's got, probably better striking, I'd say. And he was out for a while before that JDS fight. And I'm a firm believer in ring rust. I mean, if you look at guys when they go off for a while and they try to come back, it's always tough for guys coming back. And 90% of the time when they take a year or two off and they try to come back, they do not do as well as they would have had they not taken any time off. So should this fight ever go down, and I think eventually it probably is going to, it seems likely to me, I'm gonna pick Cain, but like I said, odds in my opinion are only 60-40. So depending on what the odds makers put it at, it may or may not be worth betting on. Frank Mir is probably one of the best in the world. I put him in the top 5 for sure because he's the best jiu-jitsu artist in the heavyweight division, and I don't really think that's arguable. I mean, people want to argue that in the comments and stuff. I just think you're trolls, really, because how can you say that? It's just such a stupid thing to say. That's like saying that Brock Lesnar is better than Alistair Overeem. He's a better fighter. He's a better fighter than Alistair Overeem, even though Alistair just beat him and badly. It just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, that's it for this one, guys. If you have a suggestion for an upcoming matchup or something you think is going to happen, let me know. I'm always eager to make more MMA videos, as many as I can. Later. Peace.